I know it's a tough way for you guys to have your final home game, but can you just walk me through even that final shot?
Yeah, I think, we're down 3, just need to get a 3 to go. I think I rushed it a little bit. Could have waited to have a little bit more space. But just a tough shot, tough miss.
Jared, that third quarter especially, things kind of started clicking, not just for the team, but for you. What were you seeing out there? I think Coach talked about just like you stepping up as a leader, but from your perspective, what was happening that was working so well?
I think it just started with me holding myself accountable on the defensive end, picking up the ball, stop getting beat off the dribble a little bit. I know offensively it's going to come. And I think I just started asserting myself a little bit more with the pass, getting everybody involved in the game, and the ball started flowing, the energy started picking up, and it gets infectious.
Coach was saying one of the proudest moments he had this season is the 2-A's and assignments, how it's not easy, 905 to Raptors 905, and how you came to compete so hard every day. I know you still have games with the Raptors, but what are you most proud of your time with the 905?
I think I'm most proud of the translation. The system that we run here, the attention to details, it's very similar to when you get up to the Raptors. So it's easy to, directly translate what you're doing down here in the G League up top with the Raptors. You run the same defensive scheme, same offense. So, it's just about learning to pick your spots. And I think that's the most thing I'm proud of is how easy it is to be comfortable with both times when you're up and down with the organization.
You spoke really highly. It was after the Sixers game a couple weeks ago of the organization, like the confidence they instill in you, the environment they provide. You spoke about how easy it is to communicate. Is there any specific story that you'd like to tell about how the organization has kind of given you that confidence?
It's hard because it's not one person or one specific situation. It's more of just like a feeling thing. When you get to the arena, when you get to the practice facility, it's a community that's helping you, down to the player operations, down to the training staff, down to, the equipment managers. Everyone's on board, and I think there's a certain level of culture, of tradition, when you're playing for the Raptors, whether that's, with the main team with the Raptors or the 905. There's a real family type of vibe when you come here, and that's what you feel instantly.
And speaking a bit about that, there's been obviously this conversation with where the Raptors are about this idea of adding a very high talented draft pick, but seeing guys like yourself, AJ, Jamison, undrafted, low draft guys being able to go out there, play really well, win your minutes, and develop with this organization, what do you think that says about just how this team is able to find talent no matter where it is and be able to develop really good basketball players?
Yeah, I think it's historic, and if you look at the Raptors, they've had a lot of success of finding those not highly touted but very talented dudes that, Pascal Siakam, the Fred VanVleet, they won a 905 championship, and that was something that we were trying to accomplish. And they won a 905 championship, and we're 2 years later won an NBA championship. So it's just a testimony to what the organization is capable of doing, the scouting departments. And I think the biggest thing that goes unnoticed is they find talented players, but it's about the character of people. Like I said, a lot of times people don't understand how much that goes into winning is, the community, the character that you bring, and how that just becomes infectious when you get out there on the court. It makes it a free environment.
I want to ask a little bit about the fans embracing you, specifically with the 905. We know the Raptors fans have embraced you, but there's a group of kids today that they were screaming at you every single play, whether you're at timeout or not. What's it been like to see the love that you got from them?
It's been really, really amazing. It's so funny because last night I was just talking with my girlfriend, and I just had a moment of just reflection of gratitude, and I was like, it's crazy. We have the best fans in the whole G League. I think the best fan base in the whole NBA. And I was telling my girl how honored I am to play for just the whole country, and I was telling her how long the line was for the signatures the other day, and just how many kids are so adamant about it, and how many parents are taking off work to bring their kids to the games. It's not something you see across the G League or across any other team. So it's just really been a moment of gratitude. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. And I always try to give back to the kids whenever I get opportunity. So
You've spoken about the organization and things on the court and how that all works. So far, your time here in Toronto, how has it been off the court? You speak about playing for the whole country and that.
It's been quite the experience, man. I really love it here, to be honest with you. I think it just fits to my background, my culture. I come from Jamaican and Ecuadorian descendants, so I think just like the vibe here is just kind of more so my speed. And it's easy. It feels like home, when you're interacting with the community, when you're interacting with the city, getting cultural food. It goes such a long way. It really feels like it's becoming home a little bit.
Obviously, heading into next year, another year left on the two-way contract. What is your mindset kind of as the season winds down here, going into the off season and then into next year?
I think it's just continuing to establish myself within the organization, continuing to show my high character, and showing that I can what I do can translate to being a part of the team next year. That's my goal, is to potentially get converted and be a part of this organization for hopefully a long time. That's my goal. That's where I'm at, and I think I can do it. So I'm looking forward to that.
I know you guys still have another game left, but the final home game of the season, just kind of reflecting on being able to play kind of in front of the hometown, what this has meant to you.
Yeah, it's meant a lot. Just coming back home to play for the Raptors organization, especially 905, has meant a lot. So I know we didn't end off the day like we wanted it to, but just coming back to play was a great season, and I definitely wouldn't trade it for nothing.
You are everywhere, all over the court. You bring such energy. How have you seen your game, whether it be mentally or physically, develop from game one till now?
It all happened kind of fast. Just coming into the mix kind of late, and just having to be ready. So it definitely happened fast, but at the same time, I feel like I picked it up quickly, and the guys helped me pick it up and made sure I held not only myself accountable, but held everyone else accountable.
Was playing for the 905 and playing locally here at home something that you had in mind before actually doing it? And also,
I definitely used to dream about it on my driveway. It's something that every kid probably dreams about who plays basketball in the city. Just wanting to be on the stage and wanting to showcase not only for themselves but for the community. And I feel like I did that this year, and I would, like I said, I would not trade it for the world.
And comparing it to what it was in your mind before doing it, did it live up to the expectation? How was it in your head versus?
We didn't end it the way we wanted to end, but it definitely lived up to what I wanted to. Just be able to, after the game, go home, see my family, and just be around people I love to death. So just that meant the most to me, for sure.
You talked a bit about coming in later and some of the other guys, but still being able to really get into the swing of things quickly. Mm-hmm. How did the organization kind of just support that process and make it so easy for you to get into things with the team?
Mm-hmm. They kind of just let me be me. They kind of just told me to be me, be myself, and come out here and play my game. Don't change it, and just whatever I got to do to help the guys, do it. So that's what I did.
And there was a bit of, you talked about your energy in this game. I think there's a specific moment in the fourth where you threw an outlet pass to Charlie, and you look back at Evan and some of the guys, kind of just talking about, just your ability to pass and kind of the energy you bring to this team. Can you just talk a bit about where that comes from?
Yeah, I think I'm a jack of all trades. I think when it comes to passing, I definitely have the vision to do so, and my coaches let me do that, and I definitely applaud them for allowing me to do that. And it's kind of allowed me to grow my game and being able to show NBA teams what I could do.
Two very different rookies. So you had Timbit, and then you also had Quincy. How did you see their games kind of evolve?
Just over the year, Quincy was already in the mix, so he kind of had the things going for him a little bit. But just seeing where he is now is definitely huge. But Timbit has been taking a drastic turn, and I'm just happy for him. And I owe him a little gift, so shout out to Timbit.
Is it Timbits that you're going to give him? Have you ever made him to actually try it?
I bought him. I think there was a time I bought him 50 or 75 Timbits, and I threw it in his locker. So yeah, just being able to create a culture is definitely something big for me, and I know it's big for the guys, and these are all my guys, so yeah, for sure.
I know you still have one game left in the season, but it was the final home game here. How have you really seen your guys' game develop from game one of being here till tonight?
Oh, man, it's definitely developed. Everybody individually developed in a great way, From the rookies on up, we all found areas where we can grow and help the team, and I feel like we did a good job with that.
And for you specifically, your role changed multiple times throughout the year, especially with guys coming up and down, coming off the bench to basically being the lead guard for much of the season. How do you kind of reflect on your season with the team and all the ups and downs?
Oh, man. My journey and my story is crazy. Going from a trial player and going to training camp with the Bulls, not making it, going to go play overseas, coming back, getting picked up by the Bulls, and then not playing as much until the end of the season, and coming over here, doing another trial, and basically felt like I was going through the same pattern. But, I just stuck with it, prayed on it, and believed in my craft and believed in my work ethic and how I approach the game and how I appreciate the game and the love for the game. So to reflect on it, man, it's amazing. It's good to see the gratitude and see, when you actually work hard, keep your head down, be a great person, and no matter how bad it's going for you, or if you think it's bad, you still pick up those others around you and try to help them be better as a good point guard, as a leader. It just feels good to see everything fall into place and come together for me.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, can you tell me a little bit more about the resiliency that went into you kind of lasting through that journey and what your mindset is like through those kind of more difficult times?
Yeah, it was definitely a frustrating journey. I think what kept me in it is the love for the game and the passion that I have for the game, and just not being a quitter. I'm from Chicago. I've been through, a lot to where, it kind of helped me build that, that resiliency. So, I just kept fighting through it. I knew I was going to end up on the right end of it. I knew the type of player that I am. I still know the type of player that I am, and I know I can do great things. I know I can make it to the NBA, so I won't stop, and I won't, ever just lay down for anybody. So, yeah.
Both Coach and Jared use the word character, talking about this locker room and the culture you guys have set. Like, from your perspective, how would you describe the character of this organization and kind of what you've been able to see?
You want to give one word? I don't know one word.
No, it doesn't have to be one word. Just your answer.
I just think we definitely built great character, especially from the rookies. I try to talk to the rookies and give them an explanation or a view of how I went through things, and I feel like my story can help others. So I try to communicate that as much as possible to the rookies and to just stay with it. And I feel like they really built that character of just being resilient, how I was and everything. But they had it all in them from the jump. It's just gotta be patient with it, because you gotta understand we all coming from a place where we all the top players and everything. So we have to kind of build that into one. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like our character is great, honestly.
Can you tell me a little bit about Jared's character in particular and what he brings in that aspect?
Yeah. Jared definitely has a great character. I love his fire. I love the way that he comes out and he plays. He's very vocal. He's a great guy. He plays hard. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, and I feel like that's a good thing for a basketball player, because then you can just build off of that and be able to give it your all.
First season with the 905, I hope you felt the gratitude that fans had for the effort that you constantly put on the court, but also you made so much time to sign autographs, take selfies. Could you feel that love from the 905 fan base?
Of course, yes, definitely could feel that love. I was trying to give off something that while I was growing up I didn't have. I looked at stars and I looked at players and I'm like, they didn't do the things that can set a foundation for a kid in the way of just sign an autograph here and there. And I was seeing that, and I've always grew up and been like, you know what? If I'm ever in that position, I want to be able to make those kids' dreams and be able to make those kids, more happy and follow through with, the goals that they have.
You still have a game left, but what was just your message to the team right now in the locker room?
Just, carry that second half with us, and not just into our next game, but, throughout the rest of their careers, right? So, that's the level of urgency and competitiveness and just, all out playing for each other that you have to have. That first half, a little bit in the first quarter, second quarter hurt us a bit. But again, the challenge is, can we do it for 48? So, let's bottle up that second half, that energy, how we play it on both ends, and then carry it with us for our final game and also for the rest of their careers, because that's how you play basketball, together and connected.
Coach, you talked about that second half. It felt like there was just a bit more intentionality with a lot of stuff on both ends of the floor. But from your end, what was the conversation at halftime, and what were the adjustments that helped that comeback?
It was just offensively, trusting the pass. And obviously we got guys that can put it in the hole and can really score at a high level. But when you don't do it together, we know what that outcome can be. And that second half, especially in that third quarter, we really moved the ball very, very well. And it's hard to do for 48, but that's the standard. That's what wins, and we got to commit to it.
What did you see from Jared there during that third quarter run? Like obviously on both ends of the floor, really.
I mean, yeah, we talk about his leadership, right? And he's obviously a guy that can really score the ball, but he can affect the game in a lot of other ways. I challenged him defensively. He did a great job in that second half. I challenged him to make the extra pass and elevate the group, and he did that. So I mean, it just shows the caliber of player that he is. And again, the challenge is always like how consistently can you be at your best.
And with Lacey, there just his energy and the impact that he had really in the third. What did you see?
Just who he's been for us. He's been that physical presence, that calming. It's a little bit interesting. He's like a calming physical force. If that makes sense, right? Like, he doesn't say a ton, but you feel him.
Right.
You feel him, and our guys appreciate him. What he brings defensively on the glass and also offensively with the screening. So he's been really good for us.
Coach, you mentioned before the game about the fans being the best in the G, and they obviously brought it in this one.
Yeah.
With this being the last home game for you guys, is there just a message you have for the fans after this season that you had?
Just, we don't take them for granted. We do not take them for granted. Every home game has been a home court advantage for us. And that's something that you can't take lightly. We've got an incredible fan base, incredible city that really supports us, and we feel it every game. And thank you to our fans, and we look forward to a successful season next year.
This is the last time that we'll see you before the season is over. Just for you as a coach, how do you feel that you grew over the season?
How much time you got?
A lot.
No, this seat is different, and I love it. You learn so much, not only about the game, but about yourself. And I've learned a ton about connection and relationships, all the things that you build the coaching philosophy on. That you actually get to put in practice. And one thing I'm truly thankful for is that our players allowed me a certain level of grace, right? So obviously, first year head coach, there's a learning curve, and I put everything into it, and I give them grace, and there's a bit of reciprocity there. So I appreciate it. So we've got an incredible group, pleasure to coach. Never a loss, always a lesson, and we're gonna come back stronger next season.
Some of those lessons you talk about, like connectivity, like the players giving you grace. What would you say the most important lesson you've learned this season in your first season as a head coach is?
I think just being true to who you are. I think that the emotions of the game, it's a roller coaster, but how consistently can you be who you are? And all season we've talked about care, connection, character, and competition. And those are the four things that we stand on and that I preached and coached through every single day. So, despite the wins and losses, I feel good about holding our guys to our standard.
Was there a lesson that you learned throughout this whole process that maybe you didn't expect coming in throughout?
And again, I'd be here all day, but I just think for me, everything is transformational. So, like, what can I do to help transform a player's mind so that they can be better, right? And for me, it's that connection, that care, that interpersonal relationship. That's what really matters, right? Like, that's how you get the most out of people. They were people far before they were basketball players. So I really take that to heart, and I tried to pour that into our guys, and I think they felt that.